A very, very warm welcome, everybody, on what a very special matchday 8 footballing occasion we bring you from the AFC Asian Champions League. We welcome all our viewers worldwide to Tehran. Live coverage of the Elite West meeting here of Persepolis and Al Nassr. Al Nassr very well placed indeed, and already set to take their place in the next phase of this great competition. But a different story for Persepolis. There is still time ahead of this big game for them to save themselves, but they do start the wrong side of the line with their great rivals here. Istiqlal, one of those standing in their way. A very interesting subplot. A rainy evening, but that does nothing to deter the ardour of the football-crazy public of Tehran and this immense stadium. The Azadi Stadium, 100,000 capacity, has been brimming to the full for many hours, as it does so often on big football occasions in this part of the world. It means so much to so many, and Persepolis have got all the support they could wish for as they seek the result they wish for to try to resuscitate their hopes in the competition this season. The lure of some of the great names for Al Nassr perhaps also playing a part. I'm afraid in that sense it's a disappointment because one or two of the superstars are not involved for the visitors. I think you know to whom I refer in particular. But Al Nassr's players who will start do have a job of work to do. Sometimes that can be more demanding for the opposition. But in the main, the story here has to be about our hosts. And also, if I may say, at the start of match day 8, a great credit to those behind the concept of this competition and this structure. I make it only 4 teams out of the 24, East and West, with no chance of going forward as we start match day 8. However, Al Nassr spared any last day dramas, along with their fellow Saudi Arabian powerhouses Al Hilal and Al Ahly. All three already certain of their places in the next phase, and it does seem as though there will be a strong hand going forward to challenge for the honours for Saudi Arabia. Different story for the Islamic Republic of Iran, with Persepolis and Istiqlal supposedly their standard bearers. But is there room for them in the next phase? They're one of 5 teams, Persepolis vying for effectively 2 remaining qualifying positions. And the nearest rival, quite ironically, as we come to the last match day, is Istiqlal. But there are more clubs involved in it. But it all adds a great deal of extra spice to the match day 8 mix. The prize is huge. A draw could even potentially be enough for Persepolis in the final reckoning, but they have to go for the win, surely. The points, plural, would leave them in good heart, and at least being able to sit back and wait for the other results to come in with the sure knowledge that they at least have played their part. But others are also playing their part in fighting for their lives. The first game of the day is reaching a conclusion, and Takor are beating Al-Sad by 2-1 in the last couple of minutes of the 90, and that will just again heap a little bit of extra pressure on Persepolis, because Takor started in 10th spot on 4 points, but would move on to 7. And that would leave them level just at this moment with Al Gharafa. That's still in play, so it's not a certainty. And maybe it'd be better if the Persepolis players were not told anything about that. All the focus has to be on the job here. So we're in for a very interesting few hours, a very, very exciting conclusion to the tournament phase. Such an impressive standard of play generally, and eking out points is not a given even for Al Nassr, who of course have been beaten by Al-Sad in the first phase. of the others in and around Persepolis. Al Gharafa play tonight, and Esteghlal play tomorrow. So it builds to a crescendo here. Al Nassr have arrived without a couple of their global superstars, but a lot of the other players involved in this game have seen just about everything that the game around the globe can throw at one in terms of a matchday experience. But ask anyone who comes here to play in this stadium, the memory stays with them. It is said that 11 of the top 23 best attended games in the history of the Asian Champions League have featured Persepolis. It's very easy to see why, and we're all going to be intrigued to find out whether this one might be added to the list today. What a sight and what a sound. Their hopes of staying alive in the AFC Champions League here against an Al Nassr side whose job short term is done. They are going through, but who in the long term are desperate to depose Al Hilal and Al Ahly in their own country and any and all Asian rivals in this competition. So Persepolis, the powerhouse of the modern era here in the Islamic Republic of Iran, dominant champions in 7 of the last 8 years, but not having it their own way in any competition this time round, and beaten 4-1 by Al Hilal on match day 7 to leave their hopes of going forward from this section on a knife edge. 3 changes today. Ayub El Amlud at the back, Farshed Ahmadzadeh in midfield, and could Omid Ali Shah, the veteran, provide a spark as he starts in the Asian Champions League for the first time since November, but still no starting place for Georgi Gvalasieni, who showed his big game temperament last season, scoring an 86-minute winner in the last league game of the campaign to ensure they held off the challenge of Esteghlal to move forward into this great competition. And they seek to hold off the challenge of Esteghlal again this week, of course. Rustam Lutfulin from Uzbekistan is the referee. Al Nassr's last game brought them a great Saudi Pro League victory in Jeddah over Al Ahly, achieved despite the sending off early in the second half of Mohamed Simakan. He is free to start here. Some very big stars clearly not involved, including Cristiano Ronaldo and John Duran. 5 players: Rashid Najari, Majad Quashish, Abdul Majid Al Sulaihim, Amar Yahya and Mohamed Maran starting in the Asian Champions League for the first time this season, as Stefano Pioli rotates his squad, perhaps understandably. So they crank it up even more in the moments before kickoff. So match day 8 A match day to remember for any neutrals, if there are any here. And we get underway. Persepolis against Al Nassr in the vast bowl of the Azadi Stadium. Cool heads may be hard to find. A much changed Al Nassr side as Stefano Pioli gives a few of his superstars a night off. Even the ones who've seen it all might fancy having a little piece of this tonight with no pressure on Al Nassr. It's a different story from Persepolis' perspective. Pactator doing their best at this very minute to try and claw their way above Persepolis. The other rivals will play either later today or tomorrow. Dursun, the centre forward, just trying to let Al Nassr's backline know they're going to be in a game today. I think they know that already. Pioli trying to urge his people up. That backline of Al Fatih, Simakan, Washal and Quashish, which is obviously where Simakan's importance rests today. Sent off in the 47th minute at the weekend. Ahmad Azadi holding on to it and really inviting Quashish to have a little bite at him. He obliged. I think from Al Nassr's point of view, the question is how will the players coming in, the 5 who've not started in the Asian Champions League before today, how they will approach this. The mentality might be to say, I've got to really impress, I've got to catch Pioli's eye today, in which case they may be a bit too forceful in some of their work. We shall see. Ali Shah, don't be fooled by the number 2 on his back, incidentally. He is a forward player. Kanani seemed a nicely judged pass forward and acknowledged as such. Here is Ismail Kartal, a huge day for him. The recently appointed Persepolis boss, brought in the last week of January, actually. His predecessor, Juan Garrido, lasted only until December, 6-month spell. Didn't go particularly well. Nassr, the goalkeeper for Al Nassr today, did that nicely. Bouachal. Brozovic shut down. Rafael. So the news from elsewhere is not really what Persepolis needed to hear today. Pactator in the first game in Tashkent at home to Al Sadd, a terrific win for them on the last day, which keeps their hopes very much alive. Maybe some in the crowd have made it known. It's a decent pass into the box from Mohammadi, but Dursun was going to have to adjust. He'd overrun the ball in his haste. Now a player down. Ali Shah's getting some decent touches early on his return. Flag stays down, far side. Cordobandalo might have been close to going offside. Lots of movement forward from Persepolis. Mohammadi. He provides the switch and provides it nicely. Dursun with the step over, and not really on the same wavelength with his new partner up there today, Ahmed Ali Shah. That's the issue, I guess, with the changes that Persepolis have made. But they did feel as though they had to freshen it up after Al Hilal, Al Nassr's great rivals, saw them off readily. Al Sulahim just got the clearance away. All the nous and experience of Marcelo Brozovic is going to come in very handy indeed here for Al Nassr, I think. And the interesting selection up front, not that we've seen him just yet, is Angelo. Here he is now, the youngster, the 20-year-old striker, still learning the game. Formerly at Santos in Brazil, he went to Chelsea in mid-2023 for 15 million, and then on to Strasbourg in France on a loan spell. A good move for him. Of course, that's a strong relationship between Strasbourg and Chelsea, and now trying to forge his way as a kind of understudy to some of the greats of our time at Al Nassr. And he has been getting a full season more or less in the Asian Champions League under his belt. 7th start today. He's got 1 goal, as you saw there, left-footed. Al Sulahim on by Al Fatih. Brozovic whips it into the space. Kanani is there, and here's Alexis Guendouzi, the home goalkeeper. Morabandalou, nice and tidy. Bit of space on the outside for El Amloud. El Amloud, previously at Wiyad, signed last July, presumably with nights like this in mind. These big games, huge games. Mohammadi, he's done well. Into the box he goes, with purpose. It's not clear to me how that didn't go in the net. Durson's diving in. He couldn't quite get the touch he needed. What a run this is. And somehow it eludes everybody. Ahmad Zadeh was also coming in. The touch he did get wasn't enough. That's what the crowd wanted to see for sure. Lofted into the night sky by Guendouzi. The crowd were packing in here and packing around the stadium while it was still light. That's how much match day means here. Angelo working down the right side, trying to come in onto his left foot. Breezy old night it is too, actually. There's a rain in the air. It's an amazingly incisive run from Milad Mohammadi. So unlucky not to get anything from it. He's a player that Kartal knew when he got the job, because Kartal had been coaching previously in Turkey at Fenerbahce, and that's where this man here has been playing recently at Adana Demirspor. Good career he's had. AEK Athens, Ghent. I think ending up on the right side of the line in terms of qualifying. At the end of this week, that would be a career high for him. Here's Simakan. Holds it back to Nassr. Watching brief only this season for Rashid Nassr. Before tonight, Bento, who was signed from Brazil, Atletico Paranaense back in July, has been the new starter at Al Nassr. And they've signed another goalkeeper actually more recently, Ahmed Al-Harbi. He's arrived from Al Ittifaq, so the competition's hot in that department as elsewhere at Al Nassr. Hot pace here. From Persepolis. Simakan. Nawaf Bouachal. Not really on the same wavelength as Angelo. Kanani. Al-Amloud. Rafai. Shut down well by Brozovic. So used to trying to dictate the tempo. And be the boss in there. Al-Sulahim now takes over. And Washil move forward down the right side. Did it well, Angelo, and again he has to turn it onto his left foot. Reverses it to Al-Sulahim. Ben Washal again. Wasn't the worst ball into Ayman Yahya. Ayman Yahya not been involved a lot this season, but he's a player that really does need watching. He scored one or two very important goals for Al Nassr. And of course he scored as recently as the last league game against Al Ahly, that 3-2 win. Well, I guess he's more widely remembered for his exploits in the King's Cup final last season when he scored in the 88th minute. The referee thought about it. Kwashish bowled over by Rafai. I wonder if the man who wears 7 were he on the field would be thinking about having a shot here. He's not involved. So the potential opportunity opens for somebody else. That's the way of it. Angelo's over there having a look at it. Sadio Mane, incidentally, and Aymeric Laporte are among the substitutes for Al Nassr. Might have been better to have a shot, all things considered. Not that Alexis Guendouzi would agree. So Stefano Pioli, the successor to Luis Castro. A whole new frontier for him. The man who brought the glory back to Milan in one of the really great, all-time great title battles in Serie A. But his rivalry with Inter probably was shaded for a lot of his time by Inter, and of course he's now got one of their stars from the period, Brozovic, in his midfield. Good friends now. Ali Shah. Switched further right by Korobandulu. We could see what the idea was. The execution, not something that was going to trouble Rashid Najir. Persepolis trying to press and win it. Now can they keep it? They have won it. Sharp bit of work by Ali Shah. Footballing intelligence of a high order. The player brought in to support Dursun today. Going to leave it to Mohammedi. Hamadi again. Couldn't wriggle free. Angelo's doing his best to help out for Al Nassr. Oh, what a delightful little touch that was by Yaya. A very capable player. And when Yaya might just fancy it today. Let's see if Angelo can get anything. Went the long way round, surely overran that in the corner. Robandolo. Ali Shah. At least he's seen plenty of the ball in the early stages on his return to the side. Hasn't scored a goal in this competition this season, however, and has never been prolific. I think we're seeing his value more as a player to set the play up, and I guess the big idea is to get Dursun in front of goal. That hasn't happened yet today. Knowing Pioli's mindset, yes, it's a weakened side, but he will have worked hard on the players he's bringing in to say, I want to see you really performing on top of your game today. He doesn't do excuses. Guendouzi. They're trying to keep Dursun in the game. Dursun still, of course, getting to know his new surroundings here. Another who was playing in Turkey. May or may not be a coincidence that they've now got a coach who's played worked his whole career in Turkey, but it does help in that sense that he knows these players who've been brought in. Dursun from Alanyaspor. He was previously at Fenerbahce. Slippy ball, not easy to get the purchase on it right. That doesn't really excuse what followed. So far, so relatively quiet for Alexis Guendouzi at one end and Nassr at the other. The two goalkeepers, that near thing. The ball that flashed across the face of the Al Nassr goal, which had Pioli quite agitated at the time, you might remember. Again, that ball seemed to slip out the hands, and that's a player wearing gloves. But Washal. And now he sliced that out of play. Dursun. Crowd liked it, but the problem is if he comes out of the middle like that, who will fill in the middle for Persepolis? And they try a very, very optimistic effort from a long, long way out. And that was not going to trouble Nassr from Nassr Rigi. Angelo. Again, willing to go onto his left side. Yahya, left-footed, but he can go both ways. Brozovic. Al-Sulaihim. That's nice. Very nicely played. Cross wasn't the greatest, but it's gone a long way. Eventually steered clear by El Amloud. Well constructed piece of play there from Al Nassr. Rolled across by Wushal. And the little collision in the penalty box here may be under a little bit of scrutiny. Mohamed Maran went for that. And there is certainly contact with Puraganji. This could be a moment of concern for Persepolis. It looks like they've got away with it. Washal down the line. That's not an easy ball in these conditions. Maran did pretty well to keep it in, and he kept going. Rafai given away. They're starting to squeeze a little bit higher here, Al Nassr, and starting to keep the ball a little bit better. Getting in the groove, remember, with all these changes. 5 to the starting lineup today. Oh, it's a glorious piece of play here. And for the first time today, Guendouzi shows his quality in goal for Persepolis. He did brilliantly to get down to that. Now, how quickly can they break Persepolis? The crowd on its feet all around this vast stadium. Ali Shah stopped in his tracks. There's a lot of know-how and a lot of experience, and that rather showed itself there, I think, for Persepolis, the way they took the alternative route. Their results this season overall in the Asian Champions League, beaten at Al Ahly on the opening week. Patakor here 1-1, beaten at Al Sadd. Another 1-1 draw against Al Gharafa here. 1-1 away to Al Rayyan. Their first win came only on matchday 6 against Al Shorta, but it kept them in the hunt in a difficult season. Brozovic wasn't going to let Rafai get away from him. Ganji to Kanani. Again, Dursun has come very, very short, the centre forward. Only now does he arrive in the box to present a target. They went looking for him. Simakan's header. Simakan did well. That's a loose touch. Persepolis did well to recycle it. Forward by Kanani. That's a superb challenge by Brozovic, trying to show who's boss in that area of the field. So important that a player like Brozovic, who is one of the top starting names week in, week out, that he shows the players brought in today what is required. Al Nassr single defeat against Al Sadd on matchday 6. Compensated for with the win over Al Wasl last time, 4-0. And of course coming here off a terrific, very important win in the Saudi Pro League. In Jeddah against Al Ahly. John Duran got 2 of the goals. Ayman Yahya, who's in this starting lineup today, got the other. A much-needed victory. Remember, only the top two from the Saudi Pro League will go into the elite competition, the Asian Champions League Elite, next season. And that's an issue right now for Al Nassr. Right now they stand in third spot, which means Champions League 2. And they have Al Ittihad and Al Hilal, last year's champions, barring their way. Al Ittihad on 52 league points from 20 games, 48 for Al Hilal, 44 at the moment for Al Nassr, who of course have tried everything they know and more to regain their title for what, 6 years now. The 9 times Saudi Pro League champions. 2018-19 the last time they claimed the trophy. A very distant second indeed in the Saudi Pro League to Al Hilal last season. $14 points adrift. Hearts broken in the cup final, losing out to Al Hilal on penalties. And in the Asian Champions League, no further than the quarter-final when they lost to Al Ain. Here's Simakan, just starting to get into the groove a little bit better here, Al Nassr, I think. Washal took 2 or 3 attempts for Persepolis to keep them out. Brozovic trying to pick a pass, it wasn't far away. Now the goalkeeper, Guendouzi, comes out and says we need to be a bit more clinical when we tidy up here. One can see his point of view. That is Ayman Yahya showing up in the opposition penalty box. He can be a real problem to the opposition. Their job is to make it a problem coming here for opposing sides. They're rather good at it. Their ardour not quelled by the weather. Lovely little bit of build-up play. Al-Gharib gave it, got it back, tried to square it. That's a superb piece of goalkeeping though by Guendouzi. Ever present in the Asian Champions League this season. What a move for him. He was at Saint-Etienne in France as a backup goalkeeper, really, for a few years. Fair to say he's better than that, and now he gets the chance to prove it. But it will mean so much to a player like Guendouzi if he is to be seen in the next phase of the Asian Champions League. He went to play in Algeria, actually, for Belouizdad. Algeria's national goalkeeper now. That also will help his profile. Suspicion of a foul throw about that, right in front of Pioli, moreover, who's normally pretty good at spotting that kind of thing. He was who made the block. He's very nearly on the field. In fact, just for half a second I thought he was going to walk out and play that. Pologanjaye. Combinations not really working at the moment in and around Dursun, the centre forward. A lot resting on Dursun, a lot of faith in him in the transfer market to make the difference, to get Persepolis over the line. Reported it was a free transfer from Alanyaspor at the end of January, but a player they targeted. Angelo. Angelo again. Starting to settle from the look of it. Yeah. Al Nassr collectively starting to settle and moving the ball better and better. Angelo again. Laid it off. Lovely little combination involving Jaha Brozovic. Keeps it. No way through. His way was blocked by Cordobandolo. That's Dursun. And again, Dursun wants to come short and get involved in the play. There was no out ball at all there for Persepolis. They ended up looking for a free kick. Really nowhere for Ahmadzadeh to go. Mohammadi. Back to Fulaganji. Guendouzi. Al Fatih happy to come and attack that. Nassr through the first 30 minutes. Not a proper chance either way to speak of just yet. One near thing for Persepolis, but it is Al Nassr becoming more and more progressive, higher and higher up the field. Maran. He likes what he's seeing now, I think, from this cast of backup players given their opportunity today. More and more of the players going in the direction of Alexis Guendouzi's goal. Dursun. No free kick. Simakan's onto it. Angelo ran away from him, needs to be careful. Now there's a possibility, and Angelo's got to recover and defend. He's not doing it particularly well. Mohammadi to the edge of the box, and it's turned around the post. It's a great stop that by Nassr. Cordobandolo set up by Mohammadi here after Angelo took his eye off the ball, literally so, and then he couldn't block it. He's got a little bit of pace about him, has Mohammadi. It seemed like he'd picked the wrong pass, but the shot was certainly arrowing into the top corner, and Nassr extended himself to palm it away. Al-Shah with the corner. That's a more comfortable save. So the two nearest things in this game have come for Persepolis. The early cross from Mohammadi, which somehow eluded everybody, and then the ball played by Mohammadi back to the edge of the box for the shot just now. Here's Angelo, and again needs to be a bit stronger. Al Nassr had a good spell, but now Persepolis are really responding with purpose. And another glimmer of an opportunity comes and goes. Ali Shah it was. That's the first time he's linked up with Dursun, and that bodes well for Persepolis. Miss-hit shot. One or two glimmers of hope, though, for Persepolis. They know what Persepolis have done elsewhere today on match day 8. Really shaking things up. At this precise moment, Persepolis into 7th spot on 7 points. Goal difference -2 overall to Persepolis is -4. There's a 1-1 draw between the two of them on match day 2. Not much between them any way you want to look at it. Not really about a draw here. It's surely all about claiming the 3 points for Persepolis. That has to be the objective. Overplayed by Simakan. And Mohammadi, who's been a driving force in this first half from left back for Persepolis. No free kick. Dawson flattened. Didn't make any fuss about it, incidentally. Now Bouachil into touch. Bologani to Kanani. Nicely moved by Al Nassr. Koshish joined in. Couldn't get it back. Rafai was in there in the middle of it, but he couldn't keep it. Angelo with a little space. Floats one in. It was a good-looking ball. Abdul Rahman Garib is coming in on the back post, and it took 2 to stop him here. I think from some angles this might have looked like a corner. The Al Nassr player is getting the treatment in the corner. That's not good to see, if not entirely unexpected. All in all, a very unsatisfactory corner kick, starting with the corner flag. Mohammadi on the drive again. Simakani easing his man into touch. Well, Bandaloo went sprawling. A consolatory pat from Pioli. Simakan does the gentlemanly thing. Bandaloo surely okay to continue. The howling breeze around Tehran, picked up by our microphones at pitch side here. Quite a dramatic backdrop to this game, weather-wise, to say nothing about this amazing stadium and the mind-blowing level of support that Persepolis enjoy. Ganji rolls it across. Back to Kanani. Ganji again to Mohammadi. No way out. A hard but fair taskmaster for young players, Pioli. Rather traded on his reputation as a disciplinarian at times. Here comes the goalkeeper. Judged it so well, Nassr. Not easy with the wind gusting around. Simakan. No way through for Brozovic. Dursun's layoff is a little bit short. Ricky couldn't quite get to it. Excellent cover there from Bandaloo in midfield, helping his pal Rafa out there. Both were in danger of being out of position together. Simakan keeping Dursun where he can see him, a long way from the Al Nassr goal. Bandaloo. El Amloud. Kanani. Ganji. Simakan has it to Brozovic. Not a player likely to take a risk in a scenario like that, Brozovic. Keeps it moving. No foul by Al-Sulaim. Al-Sulaim with another smart little flick, and this time Al Nassr progress. Ball played inside Maran, but he does collect it well, Maran, and he's used it well. It's out to Angelo from Yahya. Yahya might have taken that on himself, I fancy. Back to Angelo, and now Bouwashil cross. And still we're waiting for Al Nassr really to test Guendou's in goal. Dursun's chest. Just a single minute of additional time. Looks like Guendouzi is already settling for it, and the coach Cartel composing himself for his half-time address. Simakan again. It's a free kick right on the edge of the box. Al Sulaim goes to the referee and says it's in the box. I don't think there's any chance of that. The visiting captain trying it on a little bit. The yellow card for the challenge seems reasonable. And right on the stroke of half-time, Persepolis playing themselves into trouble. That was a leg stretched out by Kanani. Maran went flying over the top, but it was a free kick. It is a yellow card. And it could be a real problem. A game-changing moment potentially. A group-changing moment potentially. Now, which of these young players is going to channel their inner Ronaldo, if you like, and give Guendouzi a real problem? Brozovic, of course, takes a mean free kick in his own right. Will he get the chance here? It's a big wall. And it struck through it, but it's a really sharp save by Guendouzi. Yaya with the attempt. He does read it so well there, Guendouzi. Plenty of pace on it. But the goalkeeper was poised to pounce. Short corner this time. Short of time in the first half. Al Nassr, cross comes in. And carried on the breeze. It very nearly ran all the way out. It was a very good chase by Quarish, but it is now half-time here in Tehran. Persepolis, persistent, pacey up front. Coming close on 2 or 3 occasions. But Nassr's not really had to make a save, the visiting goalkeeper. Guendouzi, sharp when required at the other end. Al Nassr with a much-changed side, settling and starting to play some decent stuff. And Persepolis go in at half-time, knowing, most importantly, that Paktatov won elsewhere. And it's all rather heaping the pressure on the home side here in Tehran. And no breakthrough. Persepolis 0, Al Nassr 0 at half-time.
within another people's territory. My soul faces different menu. I was the first, but I will be the last. This land is calling.
تماشاگران محترم، خواهشمند است از انداختن لیزر و پرتاب مواد محترقه به داخل زمین جداً خودداری نمایید. این کار باعث محرومیت‌های شدید و جریمه نقدی برای تیم محبوب شما خواهد شد.
Welcome back, everybody. The Azadi Stadium set for a very tense second half. It's 0-0 between Persepolis and Al Nassr on match day 8 in the Asian Champions League Elite West. There are many possible combinations of results. The early result, Patakor piling on the pressure on Persepolis with their victory earlier. Persepolis haven't really come close to scoring here too often, and it's way too complicated, too convoluted to go through all the possible permutations, but it does come down to one simple thing. Only a win maximises their chances of remaining in the top 8 when all is said and done on match day 8. No way through so far against a much-changed Al Nassr, with Stefano Pioli leaving out several of their major superstars. A chance for some of the backup players to impress Pioli. Largely they've done that. There was some very good passages of play. It's nothing like as pressurised the situation in terms of a match result. If Al Nassr were to win, however, they would join Al Hilal and Al Ahly, their great rivals, back at home on 19 points. The plus 17 goal difference for Al Hilal looks out of reach, I must say. They've not really looked like scoring one goal today so far. Windy, blowy and rainy, difficult conditions. Cartel's players have got to do enough to keep the crowd very much on their side and make this place as inhospitable as it can be for Al Nassr. So important that the Persepolis players, who are used to success by and large, of course, can bring that to bear. Until this season, which has been a much more turbulent one, they've had such a great run in terms of dominating the league race, really for 7 or 8 years here in the Islamic Republic of Iran. They need to tap into that know-how in this second half, the means that they know of getting the job done when it really counts. They did it on the last day of the last league season. The player who got their all-important goal is only among the substitutes. Who knows, he may yet be called upon. Georgi Gavalashvili. The man entrusted with getting the goal, Dursun, in trouble here. Simakan is down. Not a lot of malice in it, I don't think, even though Dursun did know what he was doing. Happened in the same minute, incidentally, 47th minute, that Simakan was sent off in Al Nassr's last game. Didn't stop Pioli's men pulling together admirably. It's something he really prides himself on with all his teams. We saw it so often at Milan, particularly. That will to win. Obduracy under pressure. And they ended up getting a terrific result away to Al Ahly. Stop-start doesn't really help Cartel very much either, I don't think. He'd have wanted a very fast start to this second half. That has not really happened. As ever, the sideshow here is good, but the main event is down on that pitch. In this 100,000 capacity stadium. Held up on the edge of the box by Maran, who has had 1 or 2 good touches, Brozovic arrived, the flag belatedly goes up far side. From the look of that, the ball was out over the end line. Alexis Guendouzi looking for Dursun in the air. That came off his shoulder, I think. Helped it on its way. Al-Soyim. Persepolis have it back, but give it away, going backwards there. At pace, Yahya. He put the brakes on his outside. Karib. And steered backward by Al-Sulaim to Nassr. If you weren't with us at the start, 5 players for Al Nassr, including Nassr, the goalkeeper, starting their first Asian Champions League game of 2024-25. The others, Fashish, Al-Sulaim, Yahya and Maran. And not a lot of goals among the players who have started collectively. Angelo has got 1 in this competition this season against Al Gharafa. Angelo didn't want to take that on. Little darting run by Yahya. Yahya's a player of great wit and intelligence. Brozovic, who's the boss in central midfield today. Player who's won just about everything in the game, certainly at club level. Al-Fati. Ahmad Zeda sees it off. Started at such a high tempo. Got the crowd involved. Persepolis, 1 or 2 very good crosses came in the early part of the game, but this has been a fairly downbeat start to the second period. Just the possibility that Pioli feels that Al Nassr have worked them out a little bit. They need more. Guendouzi left-footed. Helped on its way by Korobandolu. Nassr, that was quite lively. We're going back to him, but he did well with it on this rain-sodden turf. Here's Simakan. Brozovic. Even a ball like that is quite lively with the breeze and the rain. Again, it's constructive play from Al Nassr. Quirish's cross, not so accurate. Looking a little bit short of ideas, though, just at the moment, Persepolis. They've resorted to letting Guendouzi kick a few of these long, in the hope that maybe he can get Dursun involved up front. And it's broken down again. Growing disquiet in the crowd, understandably so, on this all-important occasion in their season. And also the real possibility that they may not do enough to qualify for next season's Asian Champions League. Traktor lead the way in the Persian Gulf Pro League at the moment on 41, Sepahan on 40, Persepolis are only 3rd on 37. About a halfway through, slightly beyond halfway in the campaign. Similar kind of story, really, to Al Nassr. The qualification process as of right from the Persian Gulf League, the top team, the champions, will go straight into the Champions League Elite. The team that finishes second go into the qualifiers. The team that finished third are destined for the Asian Champions League 2. Yeah. Al Nassr in the ascendant early in the second half. Nicely played down the line. It's a very good run that by Bouachal. Played back to Al Sulaim. Brozovic. Persepolis get the ball back. Now can they keep it? Can they go forward with it? They're making a lot of their own problems here at the moment. Something needs to change. But Ali Ganji very nearly gave a corner away. In fact, he did give a corner away. I thought the first indication from the assistant was that it was going to be a throw. So Angelo gets set to take it, and it's another short one. Brozovic looking for a target, couldn't find one. Guendouzi has it. Al-Amloud rolls it back to Kanani. Kanani's on a yellow, incidentally. Rafe sideways to Ganji. They just can't find a way out at the moment. Persepolis. And they've given it away again. It's becoming a real problem, I think. A problem that needs to be fixed. Quashish. That'll run harmlessly through to the home goalkeeper Alexis Guendouzi. Certainly not the rip-roaring showing second half that the crowd crave. Now, is this more promising? Mohammadi attacked from left back so well at times in the first half, but he would never have got there. He'd have needed a jet plane to get to that one. Rafe. Korobanalu did well with that. Now here come Persepolis at last. Across from Al-Amloud, wasn't particularly threatening. Brozovic. That's a rare slip by him. Dursun, play on. Oh, the shot is miles wide when it comes. At last, a glimmer of opportunity. It was the rainy surface which accounted for Brozovic. He slipped over at just the wrong moment here. The ball ended up at the feet of Dursun. Centre forward's bound to have a hit from in front of the goal, but he seems to make the angle worse for himself before he lets go there, for me. And the wait goes on. Now there'll be a further wait. Mohamed Al Fatih's down for Al Nassr. He cannot brood on this, Serdar Dursun. But the big move in January, designed to really spark up Persepolis' attacking, and I'm afraid the stats don't back that up. He not scored in the Asian Champions League, his brief exposure to it, admittedly, and only a couple of competitive goals in the UEFA equivalent when he was at Fenerbahce. So now, with the hour fast approaching, the hour has come for the change. Alipour has come on, and that is going to be the first of two changes. Alipour. And the second change, also designed to spark it up a little bit, Said Mehri. Now, wouldn't this be a story if a former Esteghlal player, Mehri, was to end up being the hero here? He left Tehran to play for Apoel for 2 seasons, now back with the great rivals to Esteghlal, and he's also played for Traktor, incidentally. Is it written for him? Ali Alipour's had a good season in the league as a goal scorer. 7. 1 in the Asian Champions League. That came in the draw against Patakor back in September on match day 2. Alipour gets a touch. That doesn't help much, given away by Mohammadi, who's probably been one of their better performers so far today, I would say. And that's a poor pass by Rafay. The cracks are starting to show again here under this pressure for Persepolis. Al-Sulaim, pressure in the wider sense, that's to say, in terms of the overall shape of the group. It seems to be gripping them like a vice at the moment. They cannot get started. Tentative, running up blind alleys like that, giving it away again and again. Here come Al-Nassr again. Goalkeeper gets to it twice over. The second one was more important. Persepolis are living right on the precipice at this moment. Still, the Al-Nassr player flattened Brozovic, trying to make his point to the referee from Uzbekistan. He is otherwise engaged. And Brozovic clearly none the worse for it. He makes his feelings clear by winning it back. It's the more constructive approach from Al-Nassr. A lot of the game's been played in the Persepolis half in this second period. Bouchard won't get to that. Gunduz got to the first one. There, and did well, and very well indeed second time against Brozovic. Al-Nassr with a double change. Salem and Al-Hassan are the players coming on. Another of the mainstays is being brought off, which really tells you the mindset, I think. Majid Quashish is one player off, and so too Brozovic. He's played his part. So Majid for Brozovic, Salem for Al-Hassan. Touch immediately for Ali Al-Hassan. Nalipour doing his best to energise it up front for the home side. All else has failed so far. Not so Al Nassr. It's a great ball through the middle. Oh, it's millimetres away from what would have been a glorious opener for Ayman Yahya, who did it all right until he let go with the shot. The run was powerful, the angle on it was perfect, the intent very clear, and the confidence almost unbreakable. That is because he normally puts them away in big games. That's the biggest chance in this game either way. And unsurprisingly, really, it's come for Al Nassr. Free kick to Persepolis. So they've made a couple of changes, but they still need a mindset here, Persepolis. They're just drifting through this second half, potentially drifting out of the competition. Pioli and his much-changed team with a real sense of purpose. Players keen to come in, play a part and impress. That is what has happened today. Even that challenge there rather underlines it. Maran goes for it, not quite. Ali Hassan was first to it. That's a tremendous piece of play from Maran. Oh, it looked on its way in, I think, from nearly every angle. The fates for with Persepolis. But they cannot get the ball. Al-Fati. Habib. Al-Fati again. Mohammadi with the throw. Who can lift this for Persepolis? It's a really good bit of work winning the ball back. And they move it well again, Al Nassr. But he blocked down. Al Sulahim knew what to do with it. Steered backward by Al Hassan and further back by Al-Fati. Looks like a little bit of a reshape across his back line as well from Pioli. That's a little bit below the required level. Almost a bit too easy there for Al-Fati, but they've got away with it. Their goalkeeper wasn't found wanting. But the crowd are lifted by that, which rather underlines that they're not seeing a lot created by their own team. Does that represent a shift with 20-odd minutes to go? Ayub Al-Amloud with the throw. What a strike. Mohammadi. Nassr was equal to it. But they cannot keep the ball, and here come Al Nassr again. It's played beautifully into Yahya's path. Yahya, what a block, but it surely will come. Blazed over the top at the end of it by Garib. So at both ends suddenly, very near things indeed. It's a great counter-attack. Yahya so lively. He has the first shot, very good block by the defender. But he just never gets it under control here, Garib. It was Al-Amloud who got the first block. He deserves credit for that. All that after a splendid effort at the other end from Mohammadi, which was blocked out by Nassr. Aymeric Laporte is brought on at this juncture. And he's going to replace Nawaf Bouachal. His experience speaks for itself. Mary, done well. Or so the crowd thought. In fact, it's gone the other way and it's a yellow. That is not the contribution off the bench they were looking for from him. It's forceful. Many would perhaps suggest it's a bit tough on Mary to get a yellow for that. He's won 2 challenges at a time when his team needed him. So the ball popping out as far as Mohammadi, and he's just taken it upon himself to do something spectacular, something heroic. I think if it's in the corner, it's a different story, but it was straight at the goalkeeper. With this stoppage, they've decided to go again in terms of making a change. Persepolis. Yasin Salmani is brought on. Al-Sulahim back on his feet, and of course he's got a free kick out of that scenario. Back in play. It falls kindly for Nassr, and maybe just a little bit more composure was needed by Maran. Kanani with the error here. Spinning ball, difficult ball for him to deal with, but that's a very poor connection, and Maran must have seen some of the target, couldn't hit any of it. So many nervy moments back there in this second half, particularly defensively. Persepolis. And the ball is given away again. It's all too tentative. That time it was Alipour. Rafai sends Al-Nassr back, but only temporarily. Good little pass there by Simakan. The movement off the ball better from Al-Nassr. Another corner to the visitors. For Ganji. Ahmed Ali Shah made way, incidentally, just to confirm that at the last juncture. The change which brought on Salmani. The changes to the side today haven't really been that effective for Kartal. That's the problem. Ali Shah was brought in. Goalkeeper. He's taken his own man out there. noticeably quieter all around the stadium. Belief not there. The evidence suggests that Poli and Al Nassr have got this right today, even with the absence of some of the biggest stars. A player like Laporte to be brought on just underlines the strength in depth, their quality. They've shown it the way they've played. Guendou's been much the busier goalkeeper. Prestige rather than the urgent need for the points for Al Nassr if they can win this game, because it would draw them level with their rivals. Of course, he'd rather like that, Pioli, come the end of the first stage in the competition. Guendou's, it's a bit of a misconnect. Same story on repeat for Dursin, doing his best to make amends. Just slicker with the ball at their feet. Al Nassr, the movement off the ball certainly better. Not that the finishing's been particularly better, you understand, either way. Either with the starting players or the ones who've come on. But a little bit of assuredness in their work. And one might argue it's all because their position coming into this game was so much better. Starting on 16 points, and only the two teams from Saudi Arabia, Al Hilal and Al Ahly, above them on 19. And of course, even if they were to win here, doesn't guarantee them improving their position overall. Al Ahly are at home in Jeddah to Al Gharafa later. That's equally important to Persepolis, as Al Nassr win yet another corner. Kanani and his fellow defenders have spent a lot of this second half defending in their own penalty box. All this when the packed house here in the Azadi Stadium and all the many other millions of Persepolis fans around the Islamic Republic of Iran were hoping to see pressure at the other end. It hasn't happened. Angelo's corner. Guendou's clears his box. Simakan settles for a throw. Now then, the opportunity, potentially. The goalkeeper just did enough. Nassr won the race by millimetres there. Ali Alipour thought his big moment had come. Half of Tehran did as well, I think. Does that spark them into life with 10 to go? It eludes Dursun yet again. At no stage have they built any pressure, Persepolis. That's perhaps the most perplexing thing about this performance. Could they now? Dursun lays it off. And that shot from the same kind of range from Salmani as we saw from Mohammadi maybe, what, 10 minutes ago, but not as accurate. Just for a moment, the centre-backs switched off and the goalkeeper was there to help him out. The only problem was he seemed to slip as he was striking the ball there, and it could have bounced back unfavourably off Alipour. So no fairy tale in the Asian Champions League for Dursun. He is now withdrawn, and all eyes on Issa Alekasia, another veteran. That's the kind of ball any striker would like. Alekasia first up, but he couldn't get a contact on it. That at least brings the crowd back into it. Ironically, for Alekasia, his last goals in this competition came last season when he was at Sepahan. Went there for a brief spell. Mohamed Hazazi is going to come on for Al Nassr. Ayman Yahya, big chance, maybe what, 10 minutes ago. Lively throughout, no mean backup. And that's perhaps understating his importance for Al Nassr. Amazingly, Ayman Yahya started only one league game this season. Now one in the Asian Champions League, a couple of other games in the Cups. A lot of clubs would like to have him. Who can turn this performance around now for Persepolis? Who can be a hero? No way through. Persepolis forced to funnel back again. Simakan's got forward. Managed to miss everybody out with the cross. Look at the goalkeeper here, Guendouzi. He's saying to his teammates, you've got to keep believing, you've got to hope, you've got to think that this is going to work out for you. Despite all the evidence to the contrary, they've been under pressure for a lot of this game. They've certainly not played near their best, confirming their indifferent form for a lot of the campaign on all fronts. But there is still hope. There's always hope if you can keep going. Korobandolu. Rafai. Mohammadi, who has done his very best to make things happen right from the early part of the game today, actually. Kanani again. El Amloud. Rafai. Still so tentative. Al Nassr under no pressure. Rafai says, I had nowhere to go. Let's see what he can do this time. It seems like they ran out of ideas quite some time ago, I must say, Persepolis, and the only alternatives have been fresh players off the bench. But it's the same problems. Al-Qasir and Alipur brought on to be the remedy. Maybe one will get a chance. El Amloud. He found Rafai on the edge of the box. Better idea. Grabbed gratefully that time by Nassr. Nearly. Al-Hassan steers it back. They're steering their way to a respectable outcome, at the very least, Al Nassr, with all these changes today. If it does end 0-0, we may hear from Pioli afterwards. He may say, I think we've left a couple of points behind us in Tehran. We could have won that. Of course, if they do not win it, it means for certain that they're going to finish in third spot. And for certain it means a sleepless, worrisome night for Persepolis. Hoping other results turn out better. Long and hopeful, but it doesn't find a red shirt. Maybe now they might find a red shirt, but the ball will probably skip away on this damp turf. It does do so. And moreover, Al-Qasir really never looked like he would get there. Salam Al-Najdi. A defiant roar from all around the Azadi Stadium. The performance from the team hasn't been defiant or determined enough, really. "90 minutes are up. We do, however, have 8 minimum to play. So no let-off for Al Nassr on that score. Here's Simakan. Angelo, who's gone a little bit flat, gave chase. Simakan Karib. Same story, the ball carried on the breeze, carried on the rain, carried out of play. A damp squib in every sense, I'm afraid, for Persepolis, unless this late they can find more. Here comes the cross. Over it goes, or maybe to the side of the goal. Either way, Nassr didn't look too concerned. Alipur and Al-Qasir looking for service. In fact, it was the player coming in behind the Meri. Well wide. That's why the visiting keeper didn't look too worried. Laporte. Al-Najdi. Carelessness is their only enemy here. Somebody been a bit casual in possession. Al-Nassr have had one reminder of that late on. Al-Hassan to Laporte. Al-Najdi. Karib with the little back flick. Al-Hassan. Al-Fatih gets it back off his goalkeeper. And little sign that Al-Nassr are losing control of it. Hazari. Al-Sulaim. Laporte again. Al-Sulaim. Hazari. Come and get it if you can. It's rather taunting Persepolis. Rather blatant it looked, but it is a free kick against Laporte, and for the protest more than anything perhaps. He's getting a yellow card. So on small margins, sometimes a mistake, sometimes a refereeing decision, big games can be decided in an unlikely fashion. Is that the scenario here? Rafai is to take the free kick. No pressure at all on Al-Nassr for most of this second half. If not now, when for Persepolis? It's a decent save. It was a chance. Ali Alipur trying to glide it past Rashid Nassr. And they've won it back. Al-Qashia. Bandalo. Suddenly Al-Nassr in retreat. It's wide. I'm sure from some parts of the ground it looked like it might be the answer that they've craved all through this game today. A moment of inspiration for Persepolis, deep in stoppage time. From Al-Qashia. This was the cross in earlier, and that was the attempt for Meri to steer it on target. That looked better. That looked like it might have crept in from Alipur. And I guess when you take those little clips as highlights after the game, it will look like Al Nassr are really under pressure. If you've watched the game, it's a different story. It only takes a second to score a goal, of course, and there's a few seconds left for Persepolis to keep on persisting. The idea was good to help on the free kick. Nassr gets there quite comfortably for me. But Mary's had a moment. Alipour with that attempt. There was one for Alekasia. Half chances, perhaps. Not enough. Simakan. It's off Mohammadi. And we are into the 98th minute. Nobody has left the stadium. The Persepolis fans believing to the very end. But it looks like they've been believing in vain. No foul. Hardly any time, and that is not going to help Persepolis. Given away by Rafi, and then in turn by Al Nassr. If it's going to happen, it's got to happen now for Persepolis. El Amloud. What can they conjure up? Not a lot so far. Back where we started. Kanani. Guendouzi comes out and says you have to go for it. They have to knock it long. They have to hope for a break. Laporte heads it out of play. Over 98 minutes. How much more will there be? Rafi. Alipour. Still Alipour, he can't afford to give it away, he's kept it. Mary keeps it alive as well. Into the box potentially. Mary! It's wide. What a story that would have been for Said Mary. They thought that was the moment. With nearly 99 minutes played. They knocked hard on the door, they kept the ball. He got the chance to turn and line the target up, did Mary. But he just can't bend it. It was close, but that looks like being it. It is all we have here in the Azadi Stadium. Persepolis with the last kick of the game, wouldn't you know it? We're close, but not close enough. Al Nassr bossed most of the second half. There were quite a few near things in stoppage time as Persepolis knew they had to give everything they had to try to claim a victory. They have not been able to do that. A point means they have 7. It does not mean for sure just yet that they're out. But they need a lot of favours from elsewhere. Al Nassr take a point back to Riyadh. They will finish 3rd in the Asian Champions League Elite West, even without their superstars today. Pioli surely well pleased with the squad's efforts. And from Persepolis' point of view, a case of what might have been. Persepolis end frustrated. Persepolis 0, Al Nassr 0.
Oh yeah, one game hard, and the most important is we show the strength the group, and now it's just keep working, because now is next step, and this is one game difficult, but is this. Thank you.
See you in the next round. Thank you so much. Omid, bia. Saad, thank you so much. Saad.
صعود نکردیم.
نه معلوم نیست حالا معلوم نیست یعنی چی بود معلوم نیست
صعود نکردیم.
نه بستگی بازی که تو استادیوم آزادی باید می‌بردین و مساوی کردین این کار باعث شدش که صعود نکنی به مرحله بعد. تا نظر در مورد این بازی چیه؟
فقط میتونم بگم که شرمنده تک تک این هوادارا هم واقعا دلم میسوزه. نیمه اول شرایط خوبی داشتیم، فکر میکنم موقعیت نصف نیمه خوبی هم داشتیم، میتونستیم با انرژی هوادارا که بهمون حالا داده بودن حداقل یه گل بزنیم و نیمه دوم بسیار بد شروع کردیم، اما اواخر نیمه دوم موقعیتایی داشتیم که میتونستیم استفاده کنیم. در کل فکر میکنم اونطور که باید شاید خوب نبودیم، باید واقع بین باشیم، باید کنار این هوادارا به برد میرسیدیم، ولی متاسفانه این اتفاق نیفتاد. بازم میگم شرمنده شونم و چیزی جز عذرخواهی ندارم.
مرسی از حضورتون، براتون آرزوی موفقیت.
تموم شد.